What's up, YouTube? What's up, Twitch chat? Just finished up a pretty sweet Dimir Oculus list. And so we're going to run back league number 2 here with another Oculus build, but a few changes. Instead of going straight to Dimir, we're making the red splash for Grixis, getting access to Faithless Looting especially to hopefully help improve the consistency of our Frog Oculus Unearth package. We've also added in Tamiyo to take advantage of the draw 2 off Faithless Looting. Some of the cuts were the flex spots like Strategic Betrayal. We cut the Graveyard Trespasser, moved the Harbingers to the sideboard. So a little more all in on just reanimating like an Oculus or a Frog game 1. Game 2, we're boarding into a couple Harbingers, 4 Consign, 2 Spreading Seas for Tron. Got a Mystical Dispute, then a couple Meltdowns for the Affinity decks, a couple Pyroclasm for things like Boros Energy, and a couple Spellbomb for opposing graveyard strategies. So we'll see how it works out, if it's got any game to it, or if it's completely awful, needs to be shelved, move on to the next thing. Looting a sweet turn 2 Oculus. Well, you could already turn 2 Oculus with Thought Scour. It just wasn't quite as consistent since Faithless Looting actually lets you take advantage of Oculus being in your hand already, where Thought Scour is like, it's in your hand, sucks. So hopefully it takes a little bit of that RNG element out of the first couple turns. If we can find us an opponent. Got somebody? That looks pretty good, right? Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Maybe we subtlety something, got counterspell. Dead's opponent last seen 4 days ago on Grixis Reanimator, so it's kind of funny to get the Reanimator mirror right off the bat if that's what this is. Takes our Thoughtseize. Immediately find the Unearth. So I don't want to... I don't want a Faithless Looting now in case... I don't want a Faithless Looting now in case they have an Emperor of Bones. They kept a 1-lander. That's a tough one to pass up. I think I have to bin that. I'm really looking for a Force of Negation. Or, yeah, Force of Negation. And I think we're just going for the Faithless Looting, Unearth the Oculus here. If I hit a Force Negation, that's obviously like lights out. But if I don't, I think I would rather have the Oculus on the board now. Rid of... Tough. Oculus is free. I have to keep an Unearth. I kind of want to keep a Subtlety in case they have a frog, but at the same time, like if they have a frog, that's not unearthing an Archon. It just kind of feels like we're at the mercy of this draw. Like if they have second land persist, we're in trouble. If they just have nothing, we're golden. At least this means no persist. They could have an unearth for an Oculus. Like their 4 discards so far have been Oculus, Oculus, Psychic Frog, Archon. Kind of crazy. Looks like they do have the unearth. All right, never mind. We're chilling. Hit you with a token. And now we just get to be like the powerful counterspell tempo deck here. While they're doing a little extra dirtling. They don't have the interaction that we do. Sure. Now you're dead on board. Nice. Now, without Emperor of Bones, we are a little weaker, I think, in the mirror. Or a little weaker as far as like fair game in the mirror goes. What am I boarding out? Good. Is this the best version of Demir? This is like the first league that I've played with this version. So I would definitely not go as far as saying that. What they got. Lame. I was really considering going with an end of turn or pass through my turn discard to hand size. It would be pretty bad if they had an Emperor Bones, but I did still have the Fatal Push. Yeah, I'll take that. Answer a frog. Oculus in the bin. Distant Thought Scour. Or number 2. payoff. On in the bin. Thoughtseize. I don't currently have the payoff for the reanimate spell. I do think I'm going to go for the unearth here and just force them to no value pop the spell bomb. Instead of giving them a chance to untap and have a draw off of it. Get 3 cards out of my yard. Okay. Of Bones. They've got Archon. I would love to find an answer for this. I could play out Oculus here, but that's not doing anything into them getting back Archon and attacking. Pass through. Happy about Riddler and Demir Shell, or is it not so good without Ephemerate? I mean, if it wasn't good, I probably wouldn't keep playing it. It's good. I'm not going to sit here and say you have to do that, or else you're just like not winning games of Magic. Good. I don't know. I never really know what to say to questions like that, because like my entire stream is built around trying stuff out, not necessarily playing the best version every single day, because I think that gets really repetitive really quickly and people don't typically enjoy it. So all I can really say is like, if I play a version multiple times, I kind of have to be somewhat okay with the way it's going. I don't want to bring in Harbinger on the play just for like some potential cheese. But like, we've top 8'd a challenge with Riddler, top 16 another challenge. We've trophied with it. It's been a solid card. Not telling anybody to go out and just like blow all of their money on buying a playset of Riddlers, but I have not had a bad experience with Riddler. But for the most part, like, I never really know how to answer questions around what's the best build because there is so much that goes into that question. Like, if we don't make the same decisions at every point in the game, then we're not going to have the same idea of the best build. Kept a one lander. Gonna ditch a Thought Seize. And I feel like that doesn't get expressed enough. Like, if we both play Oculus and we make just different decisions at every point of the game, then the deck is going to perform like vastly different for each of us. So it's just really difficult to say, like, oh, Oculus is the best build if we can't control this, like, other set of circumstances around that. And it did find their second land. My hope here is that I can untap, find another fetch land, and just like hard cast Oculus. Right. Always just liked in a vacuum and all things being equal sayings. I don't mind in a vacuum because a lot of times it's just like what that represents. And what it represents is if you take out just all the variables where you kind of left standing, it's definitely not a perfect saying. Definitely not arguing that it's a perfect saying. But I get what it represents. All things being equal, I definitely don't agree with that saying, like, at all. Do find our land for Oculus. I think I'm just going to go Tamiyo Fatal Push here. They're going to like pump up the Emperor of Bones in combat. This is kind of why we didn't just fire off the Fatal Push. Back in. Got a frog. I'm a little bit surprised that they haven't. I guess having the frog makes sense. I was gonna say I was a little bit surprised that they weren't like trying to get the extra draw off of their frog, or off of their emperor. Dude, God, I'm over this RNG today. Just blind if for surveil over the Archon. That's just lethal. Kill Tamiyo, kill Manifest. Attack him with everything. Oculus blocks the Archon, so I guess it's not lethal. No, it is on the attack. Just blind rip the thing. Ugh. What do we do in current modern to reduce the top deck variance? Is there anything we can do in modern to reduce the top deck variance? Playing that deck, Grixis Reanimator. I mean, it's a good deck. Anybody would argue otherwise. It would be chess if we remove the variance. So I guess when I say remove the variance, I'm not talking like just 100% no variance in the game of Magic. What you see is what you get, period, end of discussion at all times. What I mean is like, what are some what are some deck building considerations we can put into place to try to reduce the amount that variance influences the game over the course of a match? Like if I was just thinking up ideas that might help, what would they be? Like I don't want to remove all variance, but would having more filtering help out? If I just got to see more cards over the course of the match, would that help out enough? Would doing so reduce my ability to just like put forth my deck's turn or game one plan? Would going for more ways of trying to lock out the game hurt or help? Alt monitor is down. 3 unknowns in hand. Remove variance, play brainstorm. I wish. I wish. I would be in heaven if I could play brainstorm. Start a frog, flip up an Oculus, hit you for 10, pass the turn. Hope I'm not dead to a cranial plating. Don't appear to be dead to a cranial plating. But it's more the question of like, when I'm losing to a top deck, is it because I chose to tap down and my opponent had the thing that turn, but I didn't have to tap down? Or is it if I had seen a couple more cards or just like a couple more pieces of action, I could have had a reasonable chance of getting out of it? Like what are the scenarios looking like in which that top deck is causing me to lose? And how can I adjust to compensate for that? That's kind of what I mean when I'm talking about how's the variance playing out there, or what can I do to reduce that variance? Because like I know a lot of times for me, I kind of take it to an extreme where players that I'll watch will be like middle of the road about going in on frog. So like being a little more aggressive at going in on frog and give their opponent one less draw step because of the power they're dealing or the damage they're dealing. I a lot of times go the opposite direction and try to hit for like a little bit less, and it makes it so that I might have more options if I draw into the options. But if I don't draw into them, then it's not really worth that risk. I think the power creep is the issue, or the variance. Threats and answers are more potent, so just one lucky draw and you lose. The power creep is definitely part of the issue, because it used to be if you played against something like Amulet Titan, your opponent had 8 draw steps. They had 4 amulets, 4 summoners packed, and that's it. If they didn't see one of those, then they weren't going off that turn, right? And now it's like, well, it could be Summoners Pact, it could be Amulet, or it could be Primeval Titan, it could be Shifting Woodlands, it could be Green Sun Zenith, it could be Scape Shift. So there's just like quite a bit more possible answers. I think I'm just going for this meltdown here. They have force negation, that sucks, but if not, I think just wipe these up is okay. You have force negation. All right, do you have a follow-up? Land Kappa. Faithless Looting. So we can hard cast Oculus next turn. But I definitely do think that there's more oops, I win top decks. Obviously, like every time a new set comes out, there's going to be some other oops, I win top deck that gets printed into the format. That's just kind of like how a card game develops. But I definitely think that like the sheer number has gone up pretty exponentially in recent years. There's rough here. Like a metallic rebuke here. Metallic rebuke sucks. But we can go for an Oculus here. They rebuke it. We untap. Unearth another Oculus. I mean, could be a bluff. I don't think that they really gain anything from bluffing here. Guess we'll find out. Like if I have something like a yeah, if I have something like a meltdown, I have to cast it here. I can't afford to like pass through more turns with this board state. So just hard casting Emissary. Are they top deck Kappa Cannoneer? Dude, I am going to go crazy on some of these top decks today. But like, for example, this game right here could have been winnable. The variance could have been avoided if I just had a second copy of a way to sweep their board. But I only have 2 in the 75 and I only drew 1 of them. So the odds are very, very low of seeing a second copy. So I know to help reduce the variance against affinity, I probably want to have a third copy, or maybe I want to mull more aggressively for a hand that's got a Thoughtseize into a Meltdown, or a Meltdown plus a Mystical Dispute, just to have a better chance of getting out of that scenario. So in that regard, like I don't want the variance of the game to go away. I just want to know what can I do to improve how little that variance affects my side. crypt. I want to force negation this this Mox Opal, but I think because they already have like blue mana available, I don't want to go after it as aggressively. Now they can't metallic rebuke. They could still force a negation. I'm walking the Cal. Thank you so much for the follow. Oh, you're right. They can off the Mox Opal. Never mind. That means I want to try to hit more land drops. And I think I'm just jamming the frog here. I've got a... Yeah, I've got Unearth if they kill it. If they don't kill it, then I've got a frog living. I would kind of expect the frog to eat a rebuke if they have a rebuke. Maybe they don't. Turn's fine. Go for force negation on the thought cast. Never gonna get to hard cast this this Oculus anyway. Guess I just try to make you have it. Get a redraw off of the Soul Guide Lantern. Force. Rough. I get to keep the Tormod's crit too. So Oculus is effectively off the table. We are Frog Tamiyo gamers now. Or Frog Unearth. If opponent gets greedy on this this Tormod's crypt and just like doesn't use it, so we get to hard cast an Oculus. Down with affinity. What did they discarded or exiled a Pinnacle Emissary to the Force of Negation. I wonder if they had the Force of Negation or if they had the Pinnacle Emissary and drew the other. I feel like they had to have had the Force of Negation and drew into a blue card. But the Pinnacle Emissary had to have been like a fairly recent draw because they didn't play it out before they played all their 0 drops. Aqua. I wonder if that's a what is it, Konosuba reference? Probably got to be, right? Not the name of the anime with Aqua. I will say this deck has been very good at getting free Faithless looting value. Like the number of times that we've put a Faithless looting in the yard off of like a Thought Scour or an Oculus manifest has been pretty high. Okay. We're going to let Pyretic Ritual go. I'm not going to let Glimpse the Unthinkable go. Don't want that extra mana here. It's a really good draw. It's also a really good draw. Just taking Valakut's Awakening, Valakut Awakening. Reasonable. Lay out our second frog. Hold up force. Ruby Medallion. Okay. We need to find more counters. Counterspell. Perfect. Okay, I have very clearly complained about my variance so much to the universe that they decided to bless me this game. I apologize for complaining about the variance. My bad. That's on me. But I guess at the same time, we are just like hitting with multiple psychic frogs every turn. So how much of that variance is just being limited by doing this? A side note, can we talk about how amazing like every amount of Final Fantasy soundtracks, or how amazing every Final Fantasy soundtrack is? All right, talk me into it. You know what's better than hitting your opponent with 2 psychic frogs every turn? You said hitting your opponent with 3 psychic frogs every turn. We're correct. Tamiyo for good measure. All right, game 2, spell bombs for sure. Couple consigned memories. Everything else is kind of mid. I wonder if Meltdown's worth bringing in for Ruby Medallion. Probably not. Couple pushes. Subtlety. Alt Scour. Pretty decent about that. I don't think these storm decks like ever really run any grave hate. I'm gonna keep this. Opponent mulliganed. It's a little bit ambitious, but with Faithless Looting, I decent chance of hitting a hand disruption spell. Could just hit an unearth. Negation. Devil. Go swamp. Swamp Watery Grave. Swamp Oculus. Oculus. Carry on. No 2-mana play from opponent. Please don't rending volley me. have to say that, but cool if you didn't. Solve is fine. All right. Let's hit you for 7. Realistically, I should have played out the... Yeah, I should have played out the polluted delta instead of the watery grave, so that I could get a basic instead of fetching and shocking, just in case the storm count matters. 2 less damage means 2 less grape shots. Usually doesn't matter, but it's kind of free to do there. I don't need the extra black mana. When it bends a Ral Monsoon Mage, looting value. Spell a Ral. Solve is fine. At least we got a matchup that kind of feels like we can do no wrong. All right, you've got 3 rituals and nothing. I've got more than lethal with an Oculus, a force negation, and a spell bomb. Tamiyo. Fair. Fair. All right. Well, that was probably the most nut draws I have ever had against Storm. Opponent, if you hop in here, I apologize for that. I think I'm keeping this. It's a 1 lander, but I do have Thoughtseize plus Force Negation. It's the GLHF, so Thoughtseize Force Negation is going to be pretty good in the matchup. Every time. Every time. Good luck, have fun. Immediate like Eldrazi or just something you never want to run into. Lab, Tower, Karn. This is also one of those matches that I need to do a much better job of identifying. Like, I could just discard the hand size on the draw there and have turn 2 land, unearth Oculus with force negation back up. Drowsy number 5. Is it number 5 already? But I kind of think I do need to just go for the I do think I kind of need to just go for the discard to hand size there. Because if I discard an Oculus past to their turn, they could go second land, Kozilek's command to go after the Oculus. I've got force and negation to protect from that. If they go to my turn in Kozilek's command on my upkeep, that beats me. But is that a line that, one, most people are going to play around? And two, are they going to do that instead of playing like a talisman on their turn or something like that? So I'm kind of feeling like that was the better line there. Or even if it's not better, it's probably one that I need to try out more often. I think usually I just kind of get terrified that it's going to go really poorly and don't. Like, I kind of look at what the worst case scenario there instead of the likely scenario is. The worst case scenario is they go to my turn, upkeep, go for the Kozilek's command. But like the likely scenario is they probably just main phase do something else or main phase Kozilek's command, in which case I've got that answered. Even if they do K command, you thought sees them. Yeah, like I'd still have a play, but if I skip my first land to go for a turn 2 thought sees you, and they've had exile my Oculus plus make like a spawn or something like that, like I'm pretty far behind at that point. So even if I do have a line to take, I don't know if that's a line that's like getting me back in the game there. Dealing the Demir deck for my next challenge. Which one do you think you're gonna go with? Riddler's Oculus, something spicy. Or Kaito? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. My goat. Yeah, I mean, if you just go like 4 Frog, 4 Kaito, 4 Tamiyo. You'll wreck all the Esper players. Tell you that from experience. I want to make sure my big frog connects here. Little one, we don't care quite so much about, but I want big frog connecting. Got going on. Why aren't you casting these things? Oh, wait, they went for main phase Kozilek's command. That's why. Hey, go spawn. Scared of Tron pre-board, post-board, it's not bad. Yeah, like all of my losses today against Tron have just come to games where it's like I have everything locked up. I just need to fade one top deck. All is dust off the top. Second Devourer off the top. Something like that. Just like, oh, I guess I needed to dodge 2 things. So I know they don't have another land. This guarantee unlocks all of their mana, so I'm going to consign it. No, they can't kill a frog here. Cool. Are up to 6, 5, potentially 6 mana. Go discard, discard. Hit you for 7, down to 4. Now I've got 2 lethal frogs. So I can beat Devourer even if they hit that. Instead, we're just going to have counterspell something plus consign something else. Know your hand perfectly. Why do you think blue-white control isn't playing cards like Wandering Emperor right now? It seems pretty decent. Why would Wandering Emperor seem decent? Like what is Wandering Emperor helping you against? What are you wanting it against? Like, that seems like such a random card to put into like the it's decent right now category. I feel like I'm missing something obvious about it. Help me understand what the obvious thing I'm missing is. Jumps up the board, exile on a stick, and a game ender. Seems really, really eh. Like you have Solitude that does the exact same job, but you can play it for free instead of 4 mana. Double Devourer. Hell yeah, Spreading Seas, but I feel like it's going to be a little too slow this game. Maybe if they have like Tronland into Tronland start, Spreading Seas could get there. But if they have like Eldrazi Temple into Eldrazi Temple, or Eldrazi Temple into Eldrazi Temple, or Ugin's Lab into something, probably just too slow. We can find Force Negation. Well, I kept a hand of 2 drops and got clapped. Heaven forbid we try to play a 2-drop in Modern. Spreading Seas has been taken. The respect it deserves. Show me a Kozilek's command. Or that. Okay, took Spreading Cheeks to get to hardbang him. Except in the face of this Karn, the Great Creator, I don't know if Harbinger is going to be enough. Opponent has chosen to get Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah, I can take out the Karn. It's just whether or not I think that's... I know by itself it's not going to be enough. Who knows? Maybe we can top deck something pretty good. Like, at the end of the day, it is just an Ensnaring Bridge. Got Sink into Stupor. I think 1 in the 75. We can find an answer to this Thought Knot Seer. All right, well, them attacking with Thought Knot means I get to attack with Harbinger. Like, who's the real winner now? I mean, if we just counter the small creatures, we kill them because if we can't attack, they can't attack. But they can cast big, stupid Eldrazi. And, like, these things will win the game. So we kind of need more than just a standstill. Yeah, they absolutely don't need to attack to win. Like, attacking is not what this game is about in the slightest, unfortunately. Don't want them to have access to multiple colorless mana. Not going to play out these lands. They could get caught with a bunch of big expensive stuff. Looks like it might be what's happening here. Or they have a dismember. That's rough. Right after I use that unearth too. You draw a Kozilek's command too. Have your blind draws just been Kozilek's commands and dismembers? All right, I'm going to target them with Thought Scour because I don't want to accidentally flip over my my sink into stupor. Two, three, four, five, six. Am I think I'm supposed to play out the Oculus here to try to find another copy of Harbinger. That better than just holding up force? It's like this weird situation of I've got to discard cards into the big frog that can't attack so that I can fly the little frogs that can. This is the weirdest game ever. I have another. You still have another Surveil in the deck. You. Okay. Hold, brothers, hold. There's no way we win this game, right? Like, actual 0% chance. Oh, all of my frogs can attack now. So we turn them all sideways. Before blocks, discard, 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 fly this one. Boom! Oh man, that deserves a screenshot. I really want their hand to just be like Ugin Sire or something like that. Get spreaded. Oh, the thumbnail on this one's gonna be fantastic. Hit them with the old spread them. Frog is best boy, indeed. When it got cheek spreaded and harbanged at the same time. Just gonna be a thumbnail with like a big NSFW red. God. Oh. Can we not play against anything else? I'm sorry for everybody I ever doubted on the absolute amount of Tron you were running into in the leagues. I doubted everybody. I was wrong. Tron's everywhere. How have you liked Oculus and Riddler? Just trying it in an Esper shell and too many 1-mana do nothings. Like you mean having the unearths and whatnot? Or what part of it was 1-mana do nothing too much? Why is there so much Tron? Did it win something? There was a bunch of like Tron trophies on Goldfish. Just like a shit ton of Tron trophies. I don't think it's won anything, but I know the trophy leader is playing Tron, and I imagine it's just a bunch of people like picking it up because it grinds through leagues extremely quickly, extremely efficiently. Volcanius, what's up? Better believe I'm going to fatal push one of these because it looked at me funny. Like if you go to Goldfish, it's just Tron. 2 top 8 spots in a challenge is fine. Tron. Tron is just like super easy to play. Games are decided one way or the other really quickly. It's been kind of like one of the decks for league grinders or for moto grinders for years. I can't count how many number of seasons there have been that Tron was like the thing to play, or the trophy leader played Tron exclusively. Main deck Bajuka Bog. Yep. It's a fantastic league deck. I don't think Tron is a good tournament deck. But it's absolutely a good league deck. New version with open deck lists look nice. Like new version of Tron with open deck lists. Is there like a how to word it? Is there a de facto Tron list at the moment? Because every time I look over, things are like pretty vastly different between every list I look at. But is there just like a this is the Tron shell you need to be on? Good opening hand. Tron decks aren't even sold on playing Tron lands. Well, I feel like that proves my point. This keep is awful out of them. Also, if I had to ban a card out of Tron, which God knows it's going to get taken out of context, I am not calling for a ban on Tron. You hear me? I'm not calling for a ban on Tron. But if I had to pick a card that I would like to see banned out of the deck, it's Devourer of Destiny. I think Devourer just does like so much for the consistency of this archetype. Consistency of hitting Tron lands, finding a payoff if you've got all the ramp, puts itself under Ugin's lab, exile something on cast. Just like nuts amount of value from that card. Preparing the email to Watsy now. Just fine, you can sign my name on it. Take a rumble, top deck a rumble. Choose Eldrazi Temple. We go ahead and go for the attack here. They want to block with the spawn token. That's fine. Go for a Faithless Looting. See if maybe we can top deck and unearth. Ugin also gives them combo win versus most decks, basically. I'm actually a lot less scared of Ugin than I am, like, almost any other card in their deck. And it's mostly because if I do have something like Harbinger to slow them down, Ugin is like the thing that they're never casting in a million years. It's just kind of the whatever card. Ooh. Piece of candy. Like to get this Oculus down sooner rather than later. But like, if I keep drawing bangers, how am I supposed to play out this Oculus? 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, this is what I mean when I say Ugin just has a lot of games where I do not care about it. Like, opponent is 3 lands off of this Ugin. I've got a frog living and attacking. Like they top decked a Myco spawn. I'm not going to discard an Oculus because I might just cast them back-to-back turns. Oh, but then again, Faithless Looting. No. Be disciplined. Be disciplined. Cast the Oculus. Speed up the clock. You can worry about Faithless Looting Tamiyo next turn. Want the pressure now. Back-to-back Myco spawns. Punish me. If I agree with second temple being the take there. No, I want the frog attack in. I don't care about Thought Seize. Don't care about Thought Scour. Don't care about Faithless Looting. I'll hold on to extra frog because it could be like Tamiyo, Faithless Looting, play a frog if I don't hit the land. Hit the land and another Spreading Seas. Tamiyo. Spreading Seas on that one. Yes. Pass. Did we do good? Are we doing it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't have enough mana to all is dust. Brutal turn. They deserved it for registering Eldrazi. For any of the Tron aficionados in the chat, does my opponent playing Malevolent Rumble mean that I should be assuming they've got Emrakul the Promised End in their 75? Like, is that a fairly safe assumption to make? With Tron players, you never know. Fortunately fair. I was just thinking about if I wanted to consider like Nihil Spellbomb in any number, or if that was just not something I even wanted to think about. Because I don't have enough consigns to deal with Devourers and Ugins and Emrakuls. So could potentially take like one of those out of the equation. But at the same time, like I kind of need Harbinger living and doing its thing anyway. Opponent mulliganed. I am so ready for this hand to just not be good enough. But I get to see a lot of cards. I get some controlled draws. I can surveil if I want. I feel like this hand, if I don't run into like Ugin's Lab Talisman on turn 1, is fairly solid. In my big stupid mouth. I got Sowing Myco Spawn back. Yeah. This is my life now. All I can do. Me, I'm the Tron deck now. do have Emrakul. So I'm going to go Spreading Seas, the Ugin's Lab. Pass the turn. Plan on consigning the cast trigger on the Myco spawn. Don't have a land. Okay. Be good to me, deck. Be good to me. One threat. Good threat. Good threat. We're not out of the woods, but we're trending in the right direction. But I still need a frog or an Oculus. I've got 5 turns to draw one. Four turns to draw one. Deck, do not let me do all of this work and then die to a Sowing Myco spawn. Thank you. Gotta believe in the heart of the cards, Yugi boy. Believe in the heart of the cards, Yugi boy. Signing this cast trigger. I don't even know what. My grandpa's deck has no pathetic cards, Kaiba. But we do have the unstoppable Harbinger of the Seas. Okay, back-to-back 4-1s. Pretty sweet. What did we think of Grixis? Did I think that the splash was worth it? Faithless Looting. Faithless Looting was pretty good. I don't think I can take away from looting that league. I think it did a pretty good job of digging when we kind of had things controlled. The problem, I never flashed back looting that entire league. And I don't think there were any times where I was like particularly close to considering it. Either because I didn't have anything busted to do if I did flash it back, or I was like already empty-handed because of Frog. So Faithless Looting could have been like basically any rummage or loot effect and gotten like the same rating. But it was solid, especially on turn 1, turn 2. We never got to Tamiyo plus looting on 2, but we did Tamiyo plus looting multiple times just on like turn 4 or 5 or something, which I think is fine. But it might mean maybe I want to cut down to 3 looting instead of the full 4. Oculus was great. Frog, great. Tamiyo didn't really do a whole lot. every time we flipped Tamiyo, the game was just like already over. So could probably get away with cutting Tamiyo. Harbinger, fantastic out of the sideboard. Spreading Seas. Spreading Seas got an A+ grade from me that league. Sniping those Ugins labyrinths. Clutch. Spreading Seas. Consign, also A+. Meltdown, we got to resolve Meltdown against Affinity. We did get Force Negation, but I don't think every Affinity list is running Force Negation. So I don't know if that means that Meltdown was better on average than it showed up there. But either way, Meltdown, Pest Control, whatever the sweeper of choice was, would have been about the same. Didn't get to Pyroclasm anybody. There were a few moments we had Faithless Looting in the yard and Harbinger on board. I don't think they really swung the game either way. And I don't think I have any intention of ever registering a basic Mountain just to flashback Harbinger or flashback Looting with Harbinger. But it might mean that post-board against Eldrazi just cut the Faithless Lootings altogether, even though it did look pretty good that game 3. So I don't know. Maybe they're necessary.